Now on to our second segment. The Centrepoint Metro, which has been its anchor tenant since 2014, will close its flagship outlet on September 15. It will be replaced by French sporting goods giant Decathlon. Several other tenants, including Times, bookstores and Tiempo Jewelry, have also announced their plans to move out. To talk about the tenant situation at the Centrepoint, I have journalists Tiffany and Timothy with me. Hi both.
Hi.
Hello. Okay. So Tiffany, what does Metro's closure mean for the department store and the mall?
So Metro took over as Centrepoint's anchor tenant back in 2014 when Robinsons moved out. So they took over the 6 floors and made that its flagship store. So they've only been there for about 5 years. And so over the weekend, they were having these pretty big clearance sales, like 85% off. And when I visited, staff there said that it would actually be closing next month, middle of next month, because Metro had decided not to renew the lease. And so Metro is saying that this is a business decision, because of changing market conditions and things like that. But so now it'll be left with only 2 stores, one at Paragon and one at Causeway Point. But it's kind of not news really that things have been challenging for department stores in general, because you've got the rise of e-commerce, and then you've got really high rental rates as well, which department stores typically need quite a bit of space. But there's also this other factor where retail experts we spoke to said that both Metro and the Centrepoint have kind of fallen behind the times a bit in terms of keeping up with what it is that young shoppers are really looking for, and they also both kind of lack a clear identity there. And also there doesn't seem to be as high footfall in the mall in general if you were to visit over a weekend, for example.
Now, I believe all 3 of us, we fall under the category of younger shoppers because we are all millennials. So what are your thoughts about, are you surprised that Metro is suffering this fate, or like Centrepoint Mall is suffering this fate? In your personal opinion as a shopper and as a millennial?
Well, not really actually, because personally I've never actually been to the Centrepoint. And the mall, it just, the impression that people in my generation or those younger have is that it's not really the place to be. It's either if you're a tai-tai or an old person or an old tai-tai, then you go to this sort of place, because there's really not much there aside from retail. At least that's the impression that I would get. Yep. Whereas say a mall like Plaza Singapura, for example, it's located at the intersection of many MRT lines, so it's easy to get to. There's a nice mixture of entertainment, retail, and dining outlets over there. And yeah, there's a lot of things that the youth like to do. You can go watch a movie, you can go play escape room. Yeah, so as compared to the Centrepoint, which doesn't really seem to have much.
Tiffany, what are your thoughts?
About what, sorry?
Are you surprised that the Centrepoint, they're losing a lot of their tenants, they have low footfall, and that Metro is also moving out?
Not really. So the mall did go through a $50 million revamp about 3 years ago, so that was a lot of infrastructure stuff, widening the entrance and all that, but also introducing a new tenant mix. But it still kind of lacks that unique draw, like Tim was saying, that gives you a reason to want to go and visit the mall, unlike some of the other newer malls that have come up around it, which I think has also drawn some of the crowds away. Like, for example, Orchard Central, 313. Orchard Central has, Don Don Donki, which has been quite popular as well with younger people. So I think the departure of Metro and also some of the other tenants, Times Bookstore and a number of others that are leaving, kind of gives it the opportunity to rebrand itself a bit. And they've said they are looking to kind of, I think, bring in more lifestyle and concepts kind of in line with that bigger government plan to make the Somerset precinct a bit more like a youth-oriented kind of place. And yeah, so they announced yesterday that they're going to be bringing in Decathlon, the sports store, to kind of take over as the anchor tenant, so that'll be its first store on Orchard Road, which is kind of a plus. And also, I think a big draw of Decathlon is getting to try out a lot of stuff in the store, so that might be a crowd puller as well.
And do you know who it's going to attract? Timothy right here,
yes.
who has been going to Decathlon. So Timothy, you covered the story that Decathlon will be taking over Metro at the Centrepoint. Can you tell us a bit more what you said in the story about, especially about how different this Decathlon store will be?
So let me first start out by saying that Decathlon itself has done pretty well since it came here in 2016. It's opened 6 outlets since then. It's doing quite a brisk business. Very large outlets as well, very well located. And in this particular outlet, they're planning to incorporate virtual simulations or augmented reality so that shoppers who are trying out different products can try it out in different environments, because they sell like a whole variety of sporting goods, right? So they didn't give many details on what exactly you can test out with this virtual reality, but in the other stores like the Kallang outlet, they have say like a gravel path where if you're testing out hiking equipment, you can walk there on the gravel path and see if your hiking equipment works on that path, which is quite a unique experience, I think, because a lot of these products, you don't really know how good they are until you test them out in that sort of environment. Aside from this, Decathlon is also going to be organizing yoga and Zumba classes within the Centrepoint outlet, which I think is quite a big draw for a lot of Singaporeans nowadays. And they'll also be organizing active sports demonstrations within the mall itself, which should draw a number of shoppers.
Now, experts that you quoted in your story, they did say something about Centrepoint maybe not having the right tenant mix or experiences to draw in the younger crowd. So do you think with a store with a major anchor tenant like Decathlon, do you think that alone is enough to draw in the crowds and keep them there?
To me?
Yeah, to both of you.
Oh,
to both.
I don't know that Decathlon alone would be enough because, like I said, there are quite a few vacant units already and others moving out. I mean, Decathlon will attract families and people like that, but whether there's other things to do in the mall or a good enough F&B mix, for example, I think that would also be quite an important factor.
Timothy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely say it's a step in the right direction, at least, regardless of how things turn out. It certainly is something that the younger crowd would look forward to more, and I think that's the kind of audience that you want to capture in today's market. Yeah.
Thank you both for sharing your thoughts.